So, who's your Judas? And if you don't know what I mean by that, Judas is the person who betrayed Jesus. So, who's betrayed you in your life? And how are you feeling about that? Do you want to seek revenge? Do you want to get back at them? I know who my Judas is, but the real question is for you to answer. Judas can be that person that resentment that you have for over, that deep seated resentment that you hate that person for whatever they did. Maybe it's an ex, maybe it's an ex-friend, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's somebody on the street that you don't even know, but that flipped you off in the traffic. But who do you think your Judas is? And what are you doing with that? Because if you have a Judas in your life, what are you doing with them in your life? And I don't mean that they're physically in your life. What I'm talking about is in your mind. If they're in your mind, you need to let go and let God take control of that. And this isn't about religion or anything like that. This is about you taking control of your life. And if you have a Judas in your life that's sitting in your head, you need to get rid of it. And how do you do that? You do it by writing down who that person is and what they did to you. It may be your ex. My Judas is my ex-wife or whatever, not mine, but yours, or your ex-husband, or your ex-lover, or your ex-boyfriend. You put down their name and what they did to you, and then you know what you do? You write it down and you put it in your God box, and then you let God take control of it, and you ask God to take away that hate and that anger and that resentment you have. Because how can you be in another relationship? How can you be in love? How can you be in understanding the things that God wants us to be in if you are in resentments, if you're thinking about that Judas in your life? And I'm telling you, a God box works. So try it. So ask yourself again, who's your Judas? Write it down. Fred is my Judas at work. He's my coworker. He's doing this, that, the other. Put it in your God box and let go and let God take control of it. And I guarantee you, if you figure out who your Judas is in your life and you get rid of them in here or in your life, then you are ready to make change.